Well, hello to all my vintage motorcycle fans, and thanks for visiting Classic Motorcycle TV. Now, this brand new channel is not a replacement or substitute for my Classic Dirt Bike TV internet franchise. It's just that in between times I will use this new format to showcase other types of road going machines and any others that are not off-road bikes. Now, in this very first posting, we're going to take a look at a world record making machine that was built more than 90 years ago and was recently restored by the Sammy Miller Museum. So I do hope you enjoy this very first look at this unique 1930 Excelsior Super Comet. Now, as record-breaking motorcycles go, this 1930 Excelsior Super Comet is not one of the more well-known record-breaking speed motorcycles, but nevertheless it surely still is a world record holder and deserves a mention here in Classic Motorcycle TV. Now, the motor is a 1000cc V-twin Jap-built power plant, which of course was the brainchild of the legendary John Alfred Prestwich, who was producing these Jap engines for all manner of uses back in the 1930s. Now, these engines were run on methanol, and of course they were all originally designed as single-cylinder motors and were very popular when they were used as speedway engines many years ago. And this particular V-twin has also been fitted with a supercharger just to make sure it can get up to the record-breaking speed of 163 miles per hour, which it set in 1930. Now, the bike has been completely restored by those very talented mechanics at the Sammy Miller Museum, and you can actually see this bike on display at the Sammy Miller Museum if you pay a visit, although in our particular case these clips were shot at the 2019 Telford Classic Dirt Bike Show. Now, a couple of the other specifications of the bike are that it has a 2-speed Sturmey Archer gearbox, and at the time of the record-breaking run the bike was ridden by legendary motorcyclist Joe Wright. Now, the bike had a dry clutch, of course, with a drive chain connecting it to the crankshaft, and it also had a secondary drive chain connecting the crankshaft to that big supercharger up front. But despite its bicycle looks, it all seemed to fit together quite well, although Joe Wright must have had big cojones to take this bike up to 163 miles per hour with all those chains flapping about under his leg. Mind you, to actually have a supercharger on any type of gasoline powered engine in the 1930s must have felt like Star Trek technology, but this Zoller supercharger was well made and certainly helped the bike to get up to those record breaking speed times. Now, despite what you might think, the bike was indeed fitted with some kind of rear brake, although I don't think it was actually used to slow the bike from that record breaking speed. Now, this old picture is of Joe Wright when he set that world breaking record all those years ago, and you can see that the bike was in an unstreamlined configuration at that time. Although without doubt this is most certainly a piece of British motorcycling history, with that beautiful V-twin Jap motor and of course Joe Wright as its pilot. But for a little more background on this unique machine, let's have a word from another motorcycling legend, Sammy Miller.
This is Joe Wright's 1930 world record breaking Excelsior Jap engine V-twin 1000cc. Supercharged, Zoller supercharged in the front, 2-speed Sturmey Archer box, and just rear wheel, front forks have got webbing on them to help with the speed resistance, but quite amazing to think that 90 years ago he did 163 miles an hour on it, and he had to go to the Tat Autobahn in Austria, which was the first Autobahn in Europe. So obviously it was a good place, a good opportunity to break for the world record, and they were probably better than the Salt Lake City, because salt is difficult to race on, but good Autobahns with tarmac would have been a far better surface, so that's probably why he got up to 163 miles an hour. But quite exceptional, and even the twist grip is just a lever twist grip, not a twist grip, but just a lever. So when you pulled it flat out like that, you're probably holding on like grim death. You couldn't even get to it to switch it back off again. So that's maybe why you broke the world record. Two lovely exhaust pipes sweeping through, and with supercharged engines, they're quite docile and rev right through the range. So that's why a two-speed gearbox, because it's such a strong engine, can pull from nothing right the way through, and probably peaks about 775,000 RPM, which translates to today quite a performance. Right, this is a J2R Jap engine, 1000cc V-twin, overhead valve, Zoller supercharger, which we generally run about 15 pounds per square inch. We've got a BTH twin spark mag, Sturmy Archer gearbox, which is only 2-speed, but if you look on the other side, the clutch, the weight of the clutch to stand the performance. Why they use a 2-speed box? Because with a Menthol supercharged engine, very docile, great torque, so it would pull from nothing right through the power range, and so probably when you get up to 80 miles an hour, you just stamped it into top gear and then off to the record braking.
Two-speed or three-speed?
Two-speed, and you've only one brake to slow it down, the disc rear brake. You can see the photograph on the wall here. You notice the pegs on here, that's through to keep your feet in the footrest when you're going over all the bumps, that you don't fly off the footrest. Wonderful bike, wonderful history, unbelievable. 90 years ago, 163 mile an hour.
But remember, if you want to see this bike and hundreds more pieces of motorcycling history, then please check out, or better still, pay a visit to the Sammy Miller Museum in New Milton in Hampshire in the UK. But without doubt, this beautiful machine has earned its place in history, and it was thanks to the engine designer John Alfred Prestwich and of course Joe Wright, who took this unique bike to what at the time must have sounded like unbelievable speeds for a motorcycle from the 1930s. And so there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this very first posting here on Classic Motorcycle TV, and please look out for more interesting vintage iron coming soon. Once again, thanks for watching.